Can you go to page 53? All right, here's what I want to talk about. So, should, ought to, had better. This is all about some type of advice. Ought to and should, we said, are the same. But this is like what you say here. The next part is what you do now or in the future. That makes sense because I say, you know, I should wear a sweater in here. I should wear a sweater because it's cold in here. I should wear, but this means in the future. Okay? Now, I want to go over the past. When this is now and future, but when I take this to the past, and I say this means, even though this is affirmative, means not negative, it means I didn't. It's the opposite. It's the negative. This is not negative, but it's because I should have brought a sweater. That means this is something I regret. I'm sorry I didn't bring a sweater. So when I say I should have brought a sweater, it's not something that can happen in the future. It's not something I did it's not something I did in the past. It's something I didn't do in the past. And then the negative works with this. This is what this is called. What I have on is short sleeved. Then you can also have long sleeved. Long sleeved goes all the way down to your, what this is called is your wrist. Wrist. Wrist is with a W too. Wrist. Okay? Now, I shouldn't have worn a short sleeve shirt means I wore. I wore a short. So you see how this is affirmative and this is negative? That's what that means. It means I regret this. It's unfortunate. It's a bad thing. This was my mistake. But what you have to know is these are opposites. So when someone says to you, I shouldn't have stayed up so late, you don't ask them, did you stay up late? Because they just told you, I shouldn't have stayed up so late. That means, yes, of course, I stayed up late. That's what I mean when I say I shouldn't have stayed up so late. I should have studied. Did you study? You can't ask that. Because if I say I should have studied, it means I didn't study. All right? This shows the regret. Okay. And then, let me go to expectation. How is advice and expectation different? You guys, expectation, this is the third box here on page 53. Expectation means that people from outside, not from inside, people from outside have expectations on us. For example, I may have my own personal expectation of saying this. I might say to myself, I have to get my room cleaned up today. That's my personal thing. It's not a rule. It is my own personal obligation. But I can also say I have to be in the class at 8:30 tomorrow morning. That is the rule because Tuesday reading and writing starts at 8:30. That is a rule. I use the same word, I have to, with both of those, but they're different. Now, I can also talk about expectations from outside of me. And that means society expects something from me. So I can say, in our culture, I am supposed to, now I changed it. I am supposed to take care of my parents. That's part of honoring my parents, which is a rule we say from God. You have to honor your parents. I am expected to honor my parents. I am supposed to be friendly with other people. It's the expectation of rule, or of society. So when we say am supposed to, are supposed to, I want to talk about these words. You have here. And then the base verb. I'm supposed to participate in Xavier events. Okay. Xavier University hires me as a teacher, but they also expect me to participate in things that are on campus that are not about teaching. For example, I'm supposed to participate in big meetings. So my job is to teach you, but I am supposed to attend meetings. I'm also supposed to make myself available for, like, when they decorate the university, or when they have different things here that are not related to teaching, but that's just the expectation. As a teacher, I have to have other duties that are different than teaching. That is what is expected to me. It's not enough that I come and teach. I'm expected to do other things. Same thing with you, maybe. If someone invites you to their house, maybe you are supposed to reciprocate and invite them to your house. Okay, that's the expectation. Now, that's what this is. This is the individual, they have something, but it's coming from outside. And that outside is society that is asking this individual to do something more. Okay, and that individual, so we do it to our own children. We start teaching our children. So if they see somebody who looks different, if they're staring at them, I'll say, don't stare, don't stare. Now, about this word, you have to know this is how you do it. I went last semester and students didn't understand this, but you guys, am, you have to have that in there. It could be was, okay? This part's okay. You have to have a D, because after a form of be, you always have V3. This word can be a main verb. This right now is like expectations. Expectations. But when you just say, I suppose, you guys, this means guess. Do you understand? So when someone says, when you say this is probably the collocation. But if you say, I suppose, if you want to use it to guess, I suppose that A is correct. There you go. You have something like that. And that means I guess. I don't know. So I suppose you are right. It means I guess you're right. I don't know. But when you talk about this, you'll have this plus a base verb, and you have to have a form of be. Don't forget this, because last semester, even though I taught it, some students took the quiz and they didn't remember that. And they just said, I supposed. And if you don't have it, it's wrong. All right? That's all I have time for, but I will give you homework on this because I feel like I've explained enough to get you started. So please check and grade. I'll give you homework. Tomorrow, I will return your test from last Thursday, and we'll do